What's going on, you guys? Welcome to Up All Night with your boy Deszi. Got a special guest going on tonight, and I had to bring this guy on because not only do I bring some of my entertainment people in here, I'm bringing a lot of entrepreneurs that's in here. I call them local heroes because we look at celebrities. Everybody wants to get that lottery ticket and be the next Kobe. But there's people every day that's out here doing things you can do just simply with passion and a little bit of investing in yourself. And I'm bringing my boy James Lloyd. All right, what's going on, bro? Welcome in. Right. Welcome to Up All Night with me. We're gonna go over the Chronicles of El Chapo, man. So are you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, we just gonna get to it. It's gonna be simple. We're gonna be relaxed. We're gonna talk to the people. We're gonna educate them a little bit today, man. So we're gonna give them a little bit of information about ALJ Full Throttle Auto Body. Talk to me. And this brother has helped me. He's helped my family. So anytime I get people on here, I try to get people that I believe in, that I can vouch for them. So this boy can do his thing. I ain't had no problems. Now, I will tell you one thing. Don't park your car at his shop. He ain't no parking lot. That man ain't going to have nobody parking at that shop. I'm going to tell y'all this right now. We're going to get this out of the rip, man. I promise you, they looking at this show, they won't be parking at your lot no more. But he would don't tell you. Hey, man, tell me this. What started your career, or even you wanting to tinker with cars, man?
I've always had a passion for cars since I was a kid, man. I'll be honest, I saw a 78 Trans Am, Burt Reynolds Trans Am, Smoking the Bandit.
Oh, yeah.
Kindergarten. And a neighbor of mine had a Corvette, and I was just into cars since then. And but what started me working on them, I've always been a tinkerer and a problem solver, take apart stuff. So I've been mechanically inclined since a kid.
Oh, okay.
Really, yeah. As I was saying, around high school, my mom used to take her cars to these like shade trees at AutoZone in the parking lots.
Yeah.
And they would rip her off. And, I saw her cry one time, and I vowed from that single day that she would not. Sorry about that.
No, you good, bro. I can pause and keep rolling. Go ahead. So we're going to talk about your mom again, how that led there. Go for
it. Yeah, basically, like I said, my mom got ripped off by, those shade tree mechanics and AutoZone parking lots. And I vowed at that day that I wouldn't have that anymore. And so ultimately, I bought a manual from AutoZone for her car. And I bought still like some basic tools, and I've always could read and comprehend, so, and I was mechanically inclined, so I combined the two. And ultimately, I went to EOC. I took a little class while I was in high school, and I started working on my mom's car, basically. And then, fresh out of high school, my first gig was at Goodyear.
Okay.
Changing oil and tires. And, I found the breakthrough moment was about a year after I was there. I found out this technician, the kind of money that he made. And that was a game changer. So, honestly, I will say I don't really have any formal training, such as technical school.
Okay.
But I took corporate classes. It means any class that they offered, especially the first couple of years of my career, I signed up for them. Every single class they had, and they were hands-on, which I think is better. Which is better than actually going to a class to me, because you can have all the knowledge in your head, but if you can't apply it, physically to the vehicle, then that's basically how I kind of got started into the auto repair game. As I stated, though, I found out there was a difference between technicians and mechanics, and that was the main thing. That's actually my slogan. And a technician is basically just that. They're very technical. They know what's tear down a car. A mechanic is more of a parts changer. Just put a part on and stick back out. So that was the biggest game changer. And I still give him homage and gratitude to this day, man. It was this guy named John, and I was making $7 an hour or so back then, and this is in 98.
Okay.
And this guy was making like $40 an hour. So, that moment right there changed everything.
Oh, yeah. So
I would add to that. Yeah, it was a good year, almost 2 years. I will say the very first day that I worked there, just the smell of the shop, everything about it, was prior to that I did temp service work.
Right.
trying to find myself, around warehouse work, all that kind of stuff. And I knew from the very first day when I was working that that's what I wanted to do.
Okay, so you just knew.
Yeah, I just knew. Yeah.
All right, we're gonna thank John too. That's what it sounded like. So that led me into what I was gonna ask you about working in shop. So you started there. Now, did you even think of having your own shop 2 years into that, or how long ago after that did you say, all right, I think I can do this on my own?
I thought about getting my own shop for the first time. I would say probably about 4 or 5 years in.
Oh, okay.
When I started becoming a real technician, actually starting to be, repair cars and fix them properly. And I noticed that I was becoming an elite technician. In other words, I was kind of outperforming other guys that was around me and stuff like that. And,
Right.
but I knew at the time I was young that mentally and everything that comes along with the shop, I wouldn't be prepared for it. So I was a corporate person, believe it or not. I like the structure of corporate, the 401k,
Gotcha.
the vacations, all that kind of stuff, the
Yeah.
training, etc.
Gotcha.
They have it designed a certain type of way versus mom and pop. That's why
Gotcha.
all those people are inside of a shop because it makes it run very efficiently.
Yeah. Makes sense, man. I get it. So you didn't just get in there in 1 year and said, I'm gonna do this and I'm running out of the shop. You actually watched another company succeed or fail before you
Actually,
jumped
believe it
in
or
there.
not, watching companies, period. I worked for three major companies. Bridgestone was the longest I worked for about 15 years before I got my own shop.
Okay.
And I think the biggest game changer to me was they bought out Firestone uh, in 2001 when Firestone had their recall.
Yeah.
And
Remember.
Bridgestone is basically Firestone and Tires Plus are basically sister companies.
Okay.
And I watched the marketing team come in there and basically take their brand and take it to the next level. And I swear to God, I spoke to the guy and I asked him what was he doing there, and I was just kind of like feeling him out. I
Right.
told myself I was like, I could do this, and I swear I took notes from not just that marketing team, even managers, some of the managers I work for,
Right.
and just the way they operate, the way they discipline their models and standards and stuff like that. A lot of that is what I really paid very, very close attention to
All right. So you knew, which is, hey, listen here. That leads me to, so now we're gonna fast forward just a little bit. Now we moved on. You've been in corporate America. You're like, okay, enough of this. I don't need that 401k safety net. That's saying a lot though. So you decided to switch over. How did you go into going when you decided, all right, now I'm gonna open up my shop? Did you just ride past a place and have an epiphany? Did it hit you? A lightning bolt struck you down, or you just said, I need a shop, I need to start going out there shopping? Or did you get investors? How did that work? Or did you
that.
inherit your
Actually,
shop?
life. No. Actually, life. Life is what got me started in this. Like I said, I was comfortable at corporate. I was making good money as a decent salary, and I used to turn down side work, what everybody calls side work.
Gotcha.
And I had a life circumstance to where I had to come up with some extra money,
Okay.
and so I started a mobile service out of a minivan and social media. I swear that I think those two, the power of social media is I can't describe it. I mean, that's how me and you even became friends, and
Yep.
reacquainted and stuff like that, and it kind of
Yep.
just kind of took off, and it got to the point where I had some small garages I was renting, and I would do this side work in the evenings, and my clientele grew over about 2 or 3 years very fast, like wildfire. And it got to
Wow.
the point of I had to make a decision because it was burning me out to try to run my own brand on the outside
Right.
and trying to go and perform at the level in corporate, which I still was able to handle it at the time. But
Right.
what really made me step out was I swear I remember the day very well. One day my manager had kind of an attitude. It wasn't towards me. He was in a
Right.
bad mood, and I didn't really want to hear his stuff that day. And
Right.
I had a lot of work at the house, and I swear God just told me, "Hey, today is the day. Go resign." And I walked right up to him and I gave him a verbal 2 week notice. And this is after 15 years, and I had
Wow.
clout, I had major clout and everything within the company. And like I said, I told the manager this is my 2 week resignation. It's not personal. I even told him that what I was planning to do. Um,
Okay.
and ultimately, I had a friend of mine, which is a partner, who was seeing my brand. He was watching me.
Right.
And he was like, "Hey man, you you want to get this shop, man, I put the money behind you to do it. And I thought he was kind of jiving at first, but he was very serious.
Wow.
And I ran across my manager, and he gave me his blessing. He did. He gave me his blessing, and he even told me that I was a different kind of animal. And he's like, he wanted to see. I gave him a 2-week notice and did all the protocol. He was like, man, you're not coming back. No, you're not coming back here. So, I understand what you're doing, but go spread your wings, And ultimately, like you said, I went riding looking for a shop. And believe it or not, it's commercial property in the Metro Atlanta area. It's a lot of it. It's a lot of it. But the side of town that I'm on is a little cheaper because it's an industrial area.
Okay.
And by chance, I almost gave up. I looked around. Most places were full or too expensive, or I just didn't feel it.
Right.
And the shop that I'm in now is just funny, man. I remember this shop as a kid off of Jonesboro Rd is where my shop is. And as a kid, my mom would go over there and I would see that shop, and I always would look at the arches on the building and was kind of fascinated by them. And I never would have dreamed that I would be in that shop. And so ultimately, when I saw it, it had a for rent sign in it, and I spoke to the owner that day. And he met me the next day, and the shop was a wreck. I'm talking about an absolute mess. And I swear, man, I presented my brand, showed him my paperwork and my invoices and stuff that I'd done on my own out of my truck. And I was explaining to him, if I can do these kind of numbers out of a truck, I have brick and mortar. I'm sure I could do it better. I have a clientele that, the whole song. Basically, everything that I saw the marketing team do with a major companies, I saw this opportunity. I was like, hey, this is my opportunity to open my mouth, use my 1,000 confidence and make this happen, man. I swear that very day, the owner of the building, he shook my hand and he wanted to be my partner.
Wow.
And I asked him why he wanted to be my partner. He said, because you have a brand. You have a brand, you have a vision, and I know a good business when I see one.
Wow.
And he invested as well. I would say it took about 25, 30 grand. And that was not zero. It's not $0 of it was my own personal money.
How about that, man?
And
That's a blessing. But you were ready.
Yeah.
So you had an opportunity, but you were prepared for when that opportunity hit you. So
exactly.
That's it.
Well, the thing is, he mainly understood that they were just putting up money for the brand, but I was the sweat equity. I did all the ideas, the branding, the painting, the fixing, every besides anything I had to outsource, but everything I did was myself.
Okay, gotcha. So hey man, listen here. You were ready. You ready to pull up your sleeve. You worked. You got the opportunity. You were prepared. And that's a heck of a story, man. A lot of people think that's not out there. Nobody's going to see that in it, that passion in it. But he saw something in you, obviously, even to take that chance. So,
I will add to this. And I tell people this all the time. The biggest thing is, if anything that you're trying to open up, I don't care what it is, you have to have strong clientele. You have to have strong clientele. You have to already have some kind of brand before you even step out brick and mortar. Because even with clientele, I had my shop was full before I even opened.
Right.
And I would say this, I still suffered somewhat the first year, even with heavy clientele.
Right.
So I can imagine if jumping out there with no clientele, you won't make it.
Yeah, and that happens a lot. We hear those stories a lot with small businesses, man. So yeah, y'all take heed. That probably was a gem right there. Just that what you said, bro. So that leads me into what's the best part of owning your own business out of all of that? Because I know it's a lot into it. But what's the best part first?
The best part, the glory, straight up.
Yeah.
Running your own business is glory and bragging rights, honestly. Because unless you're making buku money, but if you're making kind of the money you was making in corporate, it's a lot easier to work for corporate office because, like I said in the beginning, the structure, everything that goes along with it. But the glory of having your own brand, something that you created, something that was in your mind, your wildest dreams, and you can paint it. You can paint it pink. You can make your own hours. Like I have a very unorthodox way I run my repair shop, but it's efficient.
Right.
And that's the glory in it. I will say, you know, and ultimately just being able to provide a lifestyle, even outside of the repair shop. And you think about that, your talent is what feeds you. Your talent is what put gas in your vehicle. It's not a corporate job, but based off your own merit, faith, and some luck. You know, between those three, I'll be honest.
There you go. It's always a little bit of luck in there, but that's sales. You know, that's my world. A little luck, we'll take some. So,
I'm glad you said that. A lot of people don't believe in that, man. You know, a lot of people. I know it's a little bit off of the topic, man, but a lot of people believe in just sitting somewhere, praying, if you want to call it, and I call it well wishing.
right.
But if you don't put action behind your plan, my motto is POA, plan of action.
Right.
Everybody has a plan. If you don't
Yep.
put realistic plan of
Plan.
action, that's the key. You know, if you have a realistic plan of action, put action behind a plan, you can succeed. I promise you that.
Hey man, I believe in it. So that's gonna lead me to the next question. We're almost there. What's the worst part? This is the real. You done put all that sweat equity. You've done everything. I see you out there. You're in Pensacola. You're out on the beach. You know, you're a cowboy technician. You wearing all types of boots. You spend a lot of money on the boots too, man. You're living the life now. But what's the worst part of living that life you live?
The worst part is the sacrifice. I'm 4 years in, and there's a business model. You don't see money to the first 5 years,
Right.
and that is ironclad true. Unless you're lucky, you have
Right.
some companies like the Slutty Vegan and people like that who jump
Right.
out the gate, but most successful entrepreneurs, especially like mom and pop shops or service or whatever, even restaurants, it is a watching grass grow process. That means you have to literally watch the seed pop out of the ground.
Yeah.
And that takes forever.
Yes.
And the sacrifice, when I say the sacrifice, I like to use this motto. You have to almost be prepared to die for your brand. Almost literally, man, if you're really that compassionate about it. The hardest part is, like I said, the beginning of not really making it like that and it forever changes you. That's the other thing. In other words, the person that I was before, it can make you a bit shrewd, somewhat. I say shrewd not towards people, but your thought process changes. That means when people say their mind is on the biz, that is true. You think of everything in life as a business somewhat. So that's why you
Pumping
do have
gas.
to unplug. Yeah, exactly.
That's why you lunch and keeping the receipts.
That's why you do have to unplug though, and travel and do hobbies and stuff like that, because other than that, your daily thing, even relationships and everything, well, you would think of it as a business, and that's to me, that's one of the worst parts. Dealing with the public, dealing with people, especially as I'm in the service industry.
Oh yeah, man.
That will make you quit, because you feel like you go the extra mile, you stay late, you take losses, and you can't please everybody, and when you can't please somebody, I take it personally. Some people don't. I take every single thing, whether it's good or bad, I take it personally.
Yeah.
And I would say that's the worst part about it is dealing with the public, not paying, attitudes, hostility, that kind of stuff. It's rare. But the time that it does happens is, like I say, maybe I'm sensitive. I don't know, but
hey man, you talking to me? I'm in the automotive industry, so you already know. Been at the dealership and next to the service department. I get what you go through. I hear it. So you can't please 100% of the people, but if you did your best, hey, you're gonna lose some, unfortunately. So hopefully y'all come back after this. We work y'all out, or maybe you don't want them to come back to your shop. So I don't know. Don't let me say that too soon. Hey man, in and out, just talking about all of that fun stuff. What advice do you have? And you giving tons in here, some gems for inspiring technicians to say, all right, I've been over here at Pep Boys, wherever it is you named Goodyear, and I'm thinking about it. What advice do you have before we move on up out of that subject?
The advice that I have is like I said before. I mean, everybody has these dreams and plans. I think every single person on this planet, whether it's, some kind of, I think the entrepreneurial spirit is in us all, the same way we have free will or whatever it is. But
Right.
I think the biggest advice is you have to be realistic. That's number one thing. You have to be realistic of what you're dealing with, what you're trying to do. You should seek wise counsel. Like I stated, the guy who owns my building, who's my business partner, he was one of the biggest blessings in learning of how business works and the do's and don'ts and et cetera. And lastly is, like I say, you have to be prepared to, I use the term died out, not in a literal sense, but
Right.
it takes so much out of you to, and most people are not willing to put in that kind of work. I mean, I'll be honest with you, now that I'm 4 years in, I'm starting to see the light. Looking back at the first year or two, sometimes I don't even know how I did it. It was sheer willpower, resilience, determination. That is the advice that I have to give to people. I mean, you can't jump out here thinking that it's going to happen overnight. Somebody's going to give it to you, or anything like that. It's going to take a grass growing, trusting in faith process. I believe that too. There's nothing I need to add to that. Like I was saying, I was raised Southern Baptist, and I still believe those morals and foundations still ride with me to this day. But as I'm growing older into a midlife and experiencing life, and I believe more so in spirituality. So far as you have to have some kind of faith and spirituality. You have to believe in something, and you have to believe in yourself. That's the other thing is, like I say, faith alone is well wishing, because faith is something you can't see. Faith is not guaranteed. It's very mysterious.
Faith without
But I
works.
do believe, exactly, and I really believe with the free will that we have in our mind to go left or right on a small gray area, that's where your willpower and your own, your own drive kicks in. If you don't have that kind of drive to push yourself combined with faith. And other thing is fearless. I have a term I call crazy faith fearless.
Okay.
You got to be a little crazy. You got to be a little thrown off even,
Gotcha.
and you have to have some kind of faith. You have to be fearless. When I say fearless, you can't operate in fear trying to run a business. That leap of faith that they're calling, that's exactly what it is. There's an unforeseen future. You don't know what's going on. You're basically week to week. People watch you. Sometimes you have to be vigilant for predators who want to rob or break in, stealing, that kind of stuff.
Every little thing, yeah.
So like I said, that's when the business kicks in, and ultimately, like I say, man, between those three, man, and like we said in the beginning, luck. There's some luck in there, man. People don't talk about it, man. But
Amen.
some things happen sometimes, man, and I believe in God waving His mysterious hand, but some stuff is just luck, whether it's good or bad.
Yeah,
it's luck.
Yep. I take it, little Vegas odds in there. Now, this next thing I know, aside and we done, man. We already know you do what you do. You guys need to go see him, man. Go out there if you have anything going on now. If you're following me, you go out there. We need to support our own, especially in Atlanta, the Mecca, the real Wakanda. We got to support our own. Go out there, support James, man. And I'm gonna tell, like I said, I'm putting all the addresses, how you can reach out to him, your own Facebook. So you say you do a lot of work through Facebook, social media, which I'm all about that. Being in the automotive industry, so I believe in social media. So you guys go out there, reach to him. He takes care of me. He takes care of the family. So your extended family out there, you get the viewership. So go check him out. JLB Motorsports brand. Talk to me about the brand. That seems like that's just your passion. That's you.
Well, it's funny. JLB Motorsports actually was the side business name first. It used to be JLB Motorsports Full Throttle.
Gotcha.
I switched it just to Full Throttle because it was a little bit more catchy. The JLB Motorsports is basically my initials.
Okay.
And I converted over into like an off-road like club. Ain't that many members in it. It's really just me and a few other guys. It really was me and my kids.
Yeah.
And my kids grew up to be, now one's about to graduate and one's like 16. They're not really into the four-wheeling and ATV life like we were years ago.
Okay.
Also, that off-road, I've been into it about 12 years, and
Okay.
I tell you, to unwind and get your mind out of business, thing you got going on.
Yeah.
Because it's a dangerous and it's an adrenaline rush and it's fun all at the same time, to where it takes so much concentration, and to ride and go out and have this fun that you forget about and not think about nothing but the smell of the dirt, the trees, the exhaust fumes, the vibration of the vehicles.
Right.
And I also ride in a designated park. I'm not one of these people that you see out here on the streets doing tricks and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
I go to this park where there's like 100 miles of trails. They have fishing,
Oh, okay.
they have hunting, skeet shooting, they got cabins. It's really a real sports paradise. It's about an hour outside of Atlanta.
Oh, wow.
And
Okay.
that's something that I try to do about. That's something I try to do about once a month. And it's very good exercise, and it's a lifestyle, man. I mean, some people jump into it just because they think four-wheelers are cute and all that kind of stuff. But to me, it's a lifestyle that I love, man.
Yeah, man. Well, maybe we can get that membership growing after this, man. Because I'm sure in Atlanta, with all that's going on there, man, I'm sure there's some people that's down with that. They don't even know where to go. Like you said, you got a paradise that you can go to. They don't know where to take that truck and those ATVs too. So y'all hit them up. You'll see them on Facebook. Now, before I go, man, you got to give me your top five. Top five rappers. What you got?
Top five rappers.
Oh yeah.
Andre 3000.
I got him, man. 3 stacks.
Yeah, 3 stacks. I would say next will be Mos Def.
Okay. Yeah, man. People leave him off that list a lot. All right.
I would say Lil Wayne. I like Lil Wayne.
Wayne.
In his prime, even as a kid to his prime.
Oh yeah.
Biggie.
Yeah, gotcha.
And the GOAT, LL.
LL, rock your bells. Hey, man.
LL is the GOAT, man. You think about it, he basically came out in like '85, and he dropped an album today and still has big fans.
Yeah, always love you better with Boys II Men.
Yeah. And he was the beginning. He was the king of battle rapping, even the bad boy image and all that kind of stuff, and pretty boy image. He did so many different things with hip hop instead of it just being like rhyming, side to side thing. I would almost kind of move him up to a little bit more higher, but he's in top five.
I think he's underrated. You're right. Him and Kumo D. Hey, listen here, bro.
Yeah.
Right. LL
exactly.
Yeah. We put L up there. So now this is always left off the list. So I'm gonna throw it in there because I'm an R&B dude, as you know. So we're gonna get top five R&B groups. You can pick 90s, whatever, all you want, or you can get it if it's a solo artist. I'm all top five groups. Give me your top five.
Okay. Number one, first and foremost, is the 8th wonder of the world, which is Stevie Wonder.
There you go.
He is the Mozart Beethoven of our time.
There you go.
So I'm just gonna leave that one at that. That's number one, hands down.
Can't dispute that. I won't.
Number two is, I would say, Erykah Badu.
Okay, we got the Badu on there.
Yeah. I think she changed the whole genre of neo soul to another level. I would say, you think, Sade.
Sade, number three. Sweetest taboo.
Yeah. R&B, last two. I think another male artist that I kind of like.
Well, we know one we got to take off the list just because.
No. I got one for you. It's not actually R&B, man.
What you got?
I like vintage rock, man.
Do you know? You know what? I can believe that, man. I thought you about to bring up a country artist, but who you got? Give me a vintage rock.
I gotta put him out there, man. Pink Floyd.
Oh yeah, Pink Floyd, man. It was massive. I mean, you can't. Now, some people in my viewership probably only seen the album, so they don't know not one song on there.
Yeah, exactly, man. But Pink Floyd, man. Pink Floyd, and believe it or not, I would say Ozzy Osbourne, man. I like Black Sabbath.
You like biting the necks off of birds and stuff.
That's an image and gimmick, man.
You remember he said a little bit of crazy got to be included in there. Yeah, he's a little bit crazy when he said Ozzy.
If people, he's just like Pink Floyd and a lot of other people. If you on the outside looking in, that's an image, the whole thing. But its actual lyrical content is very spiritual.
Yeah,
Believe it or not, it's very spiritual, and it makes you take a look at yourself. And a lot of people don't realize that we call it the devil, man, but the devil is in us. Oftentimes, we give him the authority to.
Yeah, a lot of credit. A lot of credit for stuff you did.
I don't want to admit that, but I would say those are my top 5 groups. I know 2 of them are R&B, but I'm a big music fan, man.
Hey, you pick
I'm a music fanatic.
Pick who's your top, and that's why I see nobody would call that. You called everybody out of everything else. That last 2 probably caught everybody off guard. Pink Floyd and Ozzy. Hey, bro, ALJ Full Throttle. You guys go to Facebook. I'm attach all the contacts for this guy. If you got something going on with a family member right now, send it to him. I appreciate you, man, being up all night. I can't wait to keep this going. You got to come back, and we'll probably go out there to your paradise, man. You're going to get me into that. I got to try it, and you come down here, and let's get into some water.
For sure. And now also, man, I'm gonna tap in, man. On your other podcasts, I've been seeing you've been posting them, man, and you gotta really, man. I have to say this, man. We became Facebook friends a few years ago, and even with your other groups and stuff that you have going on, you've always doing something very positive, man. And I'm one of those. I'm one of those quiet followers, man, that follow you. You and your family and stuff, man, and. You're an inspiration to me and a lot of people, man. Believe it or not, So I'm letting you know that I am a follower, and there's a lot of people that speak highly of you, man. So you're doing great things, man.
Well, man, I appreciate it. I'm just leaving my little footprint. I can't be Michael Jacksons of the world or the Kobe's, but all I can do is worry about my little area code and my circle of people. Exactly. So I appreciate it. Thank you for being here for real, man. Y'all go out here and share this, follow this dude. Let's make it happen. Let's lift each other up. Get your mind right, your body right, your spirit right. That's all I got. I'm out of here, man. Hey, man, I appreciate you joining.